We are excited to have you with us in this enlightening journey. So they keep telling that this Bhagavad Gita is just not a book, it's a heart transformation book, right? So we could see that it's a journey of a timeless wisdom, right? The confusion between Arjuna he had, where we can get the clarity on this Bhagavad Gita. So before we begin this chapter, we are embarking today on the seventh chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We just crossed 6 chapters. Now we are getting to seventh chapter. So before we embark, we always should be very grateful to our spiritual teacher, Srila Prabhupada, one man from this great land of India. At the age of 70, he traveled across the globe. In just short span of 11 years, 14 times circled the globe. And he constructed more than 108 temples. And what was impossible, he made it possible. So he made a real revolution. So this is just not an online class, this is a soul class. And this book is just not an ordinary book. It's just not a book, it is a journey for timeless wisdom. So he is the author of this book, Bhagavad Gita. And let's begin our class today by entering into chapter 7. The title is Knowledge of Absolute. That's chapter 7. So now, quickly, we'll review what we have discussed from chapter 1 to chapter 6, and then we'll embark into chapter 7. So please pay attention so that it will be also a quick recap what we have discussed in the last 6 days. So in chapter 1, we saw how Krishna was confused and was not ready to fight, And then could see in chapter 2, Krishna surrendered himself to Lord Shri Krishna. Arjuna surrendered to Lord Shri Krishna. So first chapter 1, Arjuna was confused, not ready to fight. In chapter 2, Arjuna surrendered to Krishna, and that's where Krishna started speaking about Atma, that we're not this body, we are soul. And then we also saw in chapter 3 how why the soul suffers, because of different actions, So Krishna taught us about karma yoga, doing duty properly, right? Then we spoke about chapter 4, right? Where what happens if we do good karmas? We get punya, and because of that we'll go to Swargaloka. Bad karmas, we get, we'll be punished and we'll go to Narak, hell. Then we spoke about what is best about, this karma and vikarma. Then we spoke about akarma, right? It is not being detached, but giving an offering to the God, right? Akarma. That's that way which can go back to God. Then we spoke about chapter 5. Chapter 5 is how to do our duty without attachment. So we gave a very wonderful example of a lotus leaf, not affected by water. That's why Krishna tells us, right? We must train our mind, because if the mind becomes a best friend, we can succeed in spiritual life. Or else if it becomes an enemy, then we have to suffer. And yesterday, chapter 6, we discussed about how to control the mind and focus in God through meditation, right? So we spoke about 8 kind of meditations: yama, niyama, dharana, pranayama. Then we went to the samadhi, right? So among all the yogis, the bhakti yoga, who meditates on Krishna with love and devotion, is considered the highest. So ultimately, Krishna declares that he is the greatest yogi. So today, in chapter 7, titled as Absolute Knowledge of Absolute, we'll mainly discuss about 4 topics, divided here. The first, and we have 30 slokas in this chapter 7. 30 verses we have. So we have divided this chapter into 3 parts. One is knowledge through inquiry. Those who come to Krishna and those who don't come to Krishna. That's the second one. Then third is worship to demigods. That's devatas. And who can become a devotee. All right. These are the 4 categories we have. So we'll discuss one by one. It's a very interesting topic because we just finished the first part of the Bhagavad Gita. As I told you earlier, we have 3 parts: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. So we have completed the Karma Yoga part. We're just entering into the Bhakti Yoga. And this is the first chapter of the Bhakti Yoga. That is chapter 7, Knowledge of Absolute. So here we'll discuss one by one. So in the Sloka 7.1, Krishna is saying, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Maya Sakta Mana Partha, Yogam Yonamat Astutaha, Tam Shayam Maktam Ma, Yata Janasya Tat Sunu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, now here, O son of Pritha, by practicing yoga in full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. So here, Krishna, the Supreme Lord says, now listen, O Arjuna, in the last chapter, verse 47, Krishna said that Bhakti Yoga is the best. Now I will explain how to do that, right? So how to do that yoga with full focus on me. That is Bhakti Yoga. He's saying that if a mind is attached to me, you can come to me easily, completely, without any doubts. But you can learn everything from me. For that, I have to teach you what is Bhakti Yoga. So Lord is now teaching us how to do Bhakti Yoga. Now look at this. In the second verse of chapter 7, it says, I shall now declare unto you in full this knowledge, both phenomenal and luminous. This being known, nothing further shall remain for you to know. So Krishna says that now I will tell you everything, full knowledge, both the material, worldly, and the spiritual. So I will teach you both. Once you know this, then nothing else will be left to know. So now I'm going to explain what is material knowledge and what is spiritual knowledge. So I'll give an example. Please pay attention because it's a very interesting topic. Okay. So now Krishna is explaining about what is spiritual and what is material knowledge. So he's starting saying that just to give an understanding, how it works. Like if we mix hydrogen and oxygen, we get water, right? That's H2O. This is called material knowledge. Mixing oxygen and hydrogen becomes H2O. This is a material knowledge. Now, we are learning how things combine and work, right? But where does this hydrogen come from? Where does this oxygen come from? What is the source of both? Understanding that source is a spiritual knowledge. So Krishna says, I will teach you both how this world works and where it all comes from. All right. So I spoke about material knowledge. We told that if you mix hydrogen, oxygen, water is coming. That's a material knowledge. But actually, who is giving that hydrogen? Who's providing that oxygen? That is spiritual knowledge. All right. Now I have a question. What kind of knowledge does Krishna promises to teach in chapter 7? I have a polling for you with a couple of options. So I want all of you to answer because we want this class to be really very interactive. Okay. So let's start with this. What kind of knowledge does Krishna promises to teach? Only scientific knowledge, only spiritual, or both material and spiritual? How to mix oxygen? Okay. Well, the answer is both material and spiritual knowledge. I'll just stop the polling. You can share the results. Yes. So we're going to discuss about both material and spiritual knowledge. Okay. That's great. Now it's very important. If you want, you can make notes also. This is about the question of wisdom. There are two ways of gaining knowledge. There are two ways. If you want, you can make a note. There are two ways of gaining knowledge. One is called Aroha Pantha and Avaroha Pantha. Now, what is Aroha Pantha? Aroha Pantha means ascending order, and Avaroha Pantha means descending order. For both, you need to have faith. Okay? So I'm repeating this. There are two ways to gain knowledge. One is ascending order, that is Arohana. One is descending order, one is Avarohana. For both, you need to have faith. Now, under Arohana, that's ascending. Ascending means what? Small to big. Going up by your own efforts. That's called Aroha Pantha, ascending order. Okay, going up by our own efforts. So from small to big, going up by our own efforts. That's called Aroha Pantha. Now, what is Avaroha Pantha? Descending order. Descending order means something that comes down. Okay. So right now, just keep two things in mind. Ascending order, descending order, or Aroha Pantha or Avaroha Pantha. Now, in both Aroha Pantha and Avaroha Pantha, two things we'll discuss. What is that? There are actually three ways of getting knowledge. Okay. So now in this Aroha Pantha, that's ascending order, and we discuss two important things. And through Avaroha Pantha, we'll discuss one important point. So we have three things we're going to share now. Two from ascending order, two from descending order. Two from Aroha Pantha, one from Avaroha Pantha. So make sure that you don't get confused by these words. No? Aroha, Avaroha, just make sure. So from Arohana, we have two things we're going to discuss, and Avarohana, we're going to discuss one point. So make sure you're clear with that. Now, in Aroha Pantha, what are the two things? One is called Pratyaksha Pramana, one is called Anumana Pramana. Okay. Now, Pratyaksha Pramana is seeing as believing. You say, I want to see God. Show me God. I want to see right now. The seeing is believing. That is called, Pratyaksha Pramana. One more is called Anuman Pramana, where we just speculate, we guess, that's called Anuman Pramana. I'll give you an example. Let's say Pratyaksha Pramana. I have a glass, empty glass. It's a transparent glass. I have a spoon. Okay, now, if I put the spoon in the glass, if you see, the spoon is bent. All right. Now you said seeing is believing. That means, is the spoon straight or bent? Actually, it looks bent, but when you remove the spoon, it is straight. That means our senses are imperfect, right? Now let's say Anuman Pramana. Let's say I don't know what's happening in the room, so I may say that nothing is happening, But if I go there, I see somebody are sitting there and they're reading some books. Somebody are playing games, whatever. So guessing, speculation, even that also is imperfect. That means our senses is not perfect. So I'll explain how it works. Okay. Now, two things we should understand: Pratyaksha Pramana and Anumana Pramana. They come in Aroha Pantha, that is ascending order. Okay. Very important to understand this. Now, we are clear that both Arohana Pantha, that is Pratyaksha Pramana and Anumana Pramana, this method is not perfect because the senses are not perfect. I'll give you an example. Because our senses are very limited. We may think maybe like this or maybe like that, but it's not clear because we are doing a guesswork. Even in the school days also, we have heard this, that human beings, they came from a monkey, But I want to ask you, you're on the Zoom. How many of you came from monkeys? Nobody. We all came from a father and mother. All right. So we have that understanding that humans came from a monkey. But have you seen it? No. Then who wrote it? We all wrote an exam, right? That we are coming from monkeys, right? Apes. Only because we had some faith. From whom? Our teachers, the syllabus, the government, right? So this is what I wanted to make you understand. We don't know, but still we accept because of our faith, right? Same thing. Neil Armstrong. We heard that he has gone to moon. Actually, have you seen yourself that he went to moon? No, but still we believe it because we trust the source. So even though in the ascending order, faith is required, that doesn't mean that it is right. For example, let's say in a pocket I have a phone, So if the phone is vibrating, I just hold the phone because it's vibrating. Then I'll come to know that somebody is calling me. That's a Pratyaksha Pramana. Because I can sense that phone. Now, I may not know who's calling. That's a different question. Okay. Second thing is that, I may also guess that, somebody is trying to send a message to me in the phone. I have not even opened the screen. That is called guessing work. Right? So both Anuman Pramana and Pratyaksha Pramana, one is guessing, and one is seeing as direct, seeing as believing. Now, both of them are not correct because they are imperfect. But when it comes to Avaroha Pantha, that's descending order, there also faith is required. What is that? Because the knowledge comes down to us. See, in the first case, going up by our own efforts. That is called Aroha Pantha. When it comes to Avaroha Pantha, knowledge is coming down to us. How? I'll give you an example. So in Avaroha Pantha, we have one very important thing. What is that? Not Pratyaksha Pramana, not Anumana Pramana. The what Pramana? It is called Shabda Pramana. What is it? Shabda Pramana. So we can see that in Avaroha Pantha, we have Shabda Pramana. That is, we are hearing from the authority, especially scriptures, because this is very more reliable because it comes from a very perfect source, like through God, through Guru. Now I have a question. Now we understood two things how to gain knowledge. One is through Aroha Pantha, one is Avaroha Pantha. In Aroha Pantha, we discussed about Pratyaksha Pramana and Anumana Pramana. No, but both are imperfect. They're not perfect. But we spoke about Avaroha Pantha, that is called Shabda Pramana, which is perfect because it's coming from an authority. Now, just give me an answer. Which method gives perfect knowledge according to Gita? Like you just heard just now. So, according to you, which method is the perfect knowledge for us to gain knowledge through Bhagavad Gita? So, I have a question on the screen. So, please answer them. Which method gives you perfect knowledge according to the Gita? It is Avaroha because it is coming from scriptures. It has an authority. Not Pratyaksha, not Anumana. Somebody is saying Pratyaksha. So now you see, I could see sun. But is the sun very small? Sun is very big, but for us it looks like a small. So we say seeing is believing, right? In the glass, there's a water. You put the spoon, stick. It looks bent. Is it bent? You remove the stick, it's straight. That means our senses are not perfect. We'll explain this also, how it works, okay? I'll end the poll. The answer is an Avaroha Pantha, coming from scriptures, because that's about a Shabda Pramana, okay? Now, if I want to acquire any knowledge, three things is required. What is that? Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana Pramana, Shabda Pramana. We told that this Pratyaksha and Anumana, they come in the first category, that is ascending order, right? Aroha Pantha. But the second part, Shabda Pramana, it comes in the Avaroha Pantha, descending order. Okay, so this we should be very clear. So the first is Aroha Pantha, going up by our own efforts. Aroha Pantha, that is Pratyaksha Pramana and Anumana Pramana. Then it comes to Avaroha Pantha, that is Shabda Pramana, hearing from authority, the knowledge comes from down to us. Okay, so how that happens, we'll discuss now here. Now, please take a snapshot of this photo. Okay, it's a story of 6 blind men. Okay, now I'll just explain you. We just spoke about Pratyaksha, Anumana. I'll just give a little introduction about Shabda Pramana, and then we'll discuss about this. See, now we may wonder that if both Pratyaksha and Anumana are defective, I'm saying they are imperfect, right? Then how we know the real truth? How we can know the real truth? That's a big question for all of us. So the third method is called Shabda Pramana. That is hearing from the bona fide authority. Now some people may say just like Pratyaksha and Anumana are defective, even Shabda Pramana also can be defective. So what is the proof? You may ask that. So there is only one way. What is that? Hearing from a person who can see the truth and know the truth. I'll give you an example. Please pay attention. This story is going to make a big change for you. Okay. So there was you can see there was a 6 blind men. There were 6 people. They were all blind. Okay. They were moving, and in their life they have never seen an elephant before. So they want to know what is this. So one person touched the different parts of the elephant and he started describing. Maybe this is what. This is according to his limited experience. So one said that it is like he holded the trunk. You see trunk? He holded the trunk and he thought maybe this is a snake. Another person, he holded the elephant's ears, thought it is a fan. Somebody else, they touched the body of the elephant. They thought it looks like a wall. So everybody gave different answer. But each were partly right, but none of them know what is the real truth, right? Because they have not seen elephant. Somebody is catching the feet of the elephant, thinking that it's a stem of the tree, right? So nobody is very clear exactly what is what. Now, this is what the catch is. When there was a wise Brahmana who was moving from that side, he could see that this elephant. So explained that the whole elephant actually looks like this. How? By hearing from him. Because till then, the 6 people, they're just touching the parts of the body and they're just guessing. But when the Brahmana was moving, he told them that, no, this is how the elephant looks like, So what you're holding is not a snake, it's a trunk, right? It's not a wall, it's a body of the elephant. So here, by hearing from the Brahmana, the blind man could understand and get a very complete picture. Oh, that means elephant is a very big animal. It has a long trunk, it has a tail, it has a big body, it has a big ears. How they know? Because a Brahmana is seeing and is explaining. So what is the moral? What I'm trying to say is that we may all have partial knowledge. We may have partial knowledge about God from different sources. Right now, we have this WhatsApp, Reels, whatever, Instagram, all these things. But they're like a blind man. But if we hear from the realized person or scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, we can understand a complete truth about God very clearly. So now I have a question for you. What does the story of a blind man, an elephant, is teaching us? Okay, I'll just put this question for you on the screen. So let's see. I want everyone to think and answer, not abrupt answer. Think and answer, because this is what it's going to help us to understand. What does the story of a blind man and the elephant teach us? So we have 4 options. Exactly right. Truth is best known by hearing from one who sees it fully. Fantastic, amazing. This is the right answer. Glass and the spoon was bent, and I told them it's it looks bent, but when I remove it straight. What I mean to say that our knowledge is limited. I'll tell you, we all have, you, me, all of us have 4 defects. 4 defects? Yes. What is it? We all make mistake. We all make mistake. Sometimes we become even illusion. Like let's say last night I was walking, I saw some rope there. I thought it is a snake. I was very feared. Morning I saw, hey, it was not a snake, it was a rope there. So we sometimes become very illusion. Then we also have imperfect senses. I give an example. Let's say we are traveling in the hot summer, let's say I'm traveling in a bike. There is a water, I go front, there's no water. It is a mirage, right? So that means senses are imperfect. Then also, to cheat others. So these 4 are the defects of a human being. Like you all may have these 4 defects. Now you tell me, somebody makes mistakes, somebody gets confused, thinking it's an illusion. Somebody, so when all the senses are imperfect, we can't see or hear everything. Now, and also we tend to cheat others. So you tell me, in this limited capacity, how can we understand something unlimited, like God or the universe? So we can't do it fully with our own, just in our efforts. We need a help. What is that? See, even if you look at the science also, science is definitely useful, but science also has limitations. Now you may say, Prabhu, how you think science has a limitation? Science is, it's a truth, right? I'll give an example. Let's say there is a murder case. Somebody has killed someone, murder case. The doctor is doing a post-mortem. Now he can tell you what kind of weapon was used. He may also tell you, what time the person died. He may also tell you, what organ of the body was damaged. Correct? You agree? This is called science. But a doctor cannot tell you that who killed him, and why he was killed. That he cannot answer. Then who will answer? For that we have a separate department. That is called investigation department. You agree, right? Similarly, science can tell us how things works, but not who created this universe. Why we exist. What is our real purpose? What do we do? So for this, we need to have complete knowledge. And that comes from going to the authorities. That is through a spiritual teacher and scriptures. And that is what I'm saying you. That is called a descending order. Shabda Pramana, not Avaroha Pantha. And that is more complete and it's trustworthy. So if I ask you out of 3, Pratyaksha Pramana, Anuman Pramana, Shabda Pramana, which is the best? It is Shabda Pramana. I'll give an example. Let's say some of you are sleeping now, okay? Deep sleep, it's a night, okay? And there's a snake just moving around, and somebody saw, they're waking you up, hey, wake up, there's a snake. You have such a deep sleep, you will not wake up. But if the person starts screaming, hey, snake, hey, snake, you will start, hey, where, little. Why? Because Shabda Pramana is so powerful, so strong. And that is why when it's coming from authority and scriptures, just imagine, it is a perfect source to understand that who is God. Now, my question for you all is, what is your knowledge? I'm going to say, why is your knowledge so limited? I'll just put this question for you. Why is our knowledge is limited? Of course, I told the 4 things, Why you think our knowledge is limited? I said about the 4 defects, right? But I have a question for you. You can argue with me. You can also tell me, no, my knowledge is perfect. So now I'm asking this question for you, that why is our knowledge limited? Why we cannot understand Krishna easily? So please answer them. Why is our knowledge limited? Is it because we don't read enough books? Oh, we make mistake and also have imperfect senses. Okay, correct. It says our senses are perfect. No. Can you tell me what's happening behind the screen? If you're saying your senses are perfect, so you have no answer for that. Do you know right now what's happening in America right now? Do you know? You don't know. So we don't read enough books. Or even reading books also will not give you help, because school children are going to when children are going to schools, they're having so much of bookish knowledge, But do you see a immediate transformation in them? No. Still, they have so many addictions. All right. But what they're going to school, but no teacher, only books are lying there. It's not going to help. We need to have a teacher. All right. That's why I'm telling you, we all make mistake because we have imperfect senses. Shabda Pramana talks about hearing from authorities, from scriptures, through a guru, that is very important. So I'll end this poll. The answer is we make mistakes because we have imperfect senses. That's correct. I'll stop sharing. Okay, now look at this. So we spoke about two things: Aroha, Avaroha Panta. Avaroha is all about a Shabda Pramana, receiving knowledge from the authority. So make sure that you make some notes, right? Because two ways of gaining knowledge. You can tell to your friends also, today I learned something new. How to gain knowledge? There are two ways. One is Aroha, one is Avaroha, Avarohana, Arohana and Avarohana. Okay. So in Avarohana, we're going to speak about the Shabda Pramana. Because in both, faith is needed, right? Both science and spirituality, faith is needed. Even science requires faith. For example, we trust our teachers, textbook, even the syllabus that we get from government. But we have seen everything ourselves, right? No, still we believe based on trust. Okay, I'll give you an example. We also have faith in a spiritual, spiritual life. I'll give you, see, in the same way, spiritual life also needs faith. So basically, both needs faith. This is, make sure that you're very clear. Now, not a blind faith, but faith on a trusted resources, like, yes, scriptures, and also devotees who have realized God. Now, I recently been to Pandharpur. Pandharpur is a temple, very beautiful temple that's there in Maharashtra. Because my temple is in Pune, so I keep going to Pandharpur now and then. So I heard this wonderful pastime. I'd like to share with you. So once one old Mataji, she was a devotee. She went to take darshan of Lord Panduranga, Vitthal, and every year, not just today, tomorrow, every year, for past 60 years, she was going. Someone asked her, you've been going every year, did you ever see Panduranga? She said, no. Then why are you going every year? Then she gave a very beautiful answer. She said, see, in this place only, if one dog start barking on a thief, then what happens? All the dogs start barking, But what does it mean? Even if they did not see the thief, the other dogs, have not seen the thief, because the first dog is barking, all the dogs start barking. Why? Because someone asked, did you ever see Panduranga? Actually, she said such a wonderful reply that because they trust the first dog. They trust the first dog. That's why when other dogs are barking, it is understood. Similarly, what she's trying to say is that if I don't know whether you know about the saintly people, Tukaram Maharaj, and Nanadev, if they have seen Panduranga and they have faith, then why shouldn't I trust them? Just like one dog barked on thief, all the dogs are barking. If one dog can have, the other dogs can have faith on the first dog because it's barking because some thief is going on. Here we have such a great devotees like Nanadev and Tukaram Maharaj. So shouldn't we have faith on them? So they are pure souls. So I have faith in them. That's what that Mataji was saying to say. So if you see, historically, it all exists. Historically, proof also exists. What I want to say is many ancient temples. If you go to Dwaraka, even now also you will find there are archaeological evidence on Dwaraka temple underwater, right? That means nothing is fake. If you go to Rameshwaram, You'll find even the stones are even now floating. All right. So there are many ancient temples, 5,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, 1,500 years ago. So that means this spiritual tradition have continued for thousands of years. No, it's just not a fake, right? But how to know God? That's another question. Now, Prabhupada, the ISKCON Acharya, very nicely explains, that the Shastras, scriptures, they are like a mother. Scriptures, they are like a mother, and God is like a father. Now, if I ask you something, if you want to know who is your father, if you ask the child, who is your father, what the child will say, he'll ask his mother. The same way, if you want to understand, if you want to understand God, you should ask the Shastras. If you want to understand who's our father, Krishna, we should ask our mother, Shastra. Right? So what I meant to say here is that Krishna, who is infallible, he speaks the truth in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, this word infallible, what does it mean? First of all, you should know that we should trust him and learn from him. Because the word infallible means he never goes wrong. He never goes wrong. He is always perfect. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has another name. It's called Achyuta, which means infallible. Because he never fails in his promise or never forgets. He is always perfect in his knowledge and actions. Now, my question for all of you is, what kind of faith is encouraged in a spiritual life? What kind of, okay, I'll just put this question on the screen. Maybe that will be easier for you to understand. Just one moment. Yeah, there we go. Yes. Please tell me, what kind of faith is encouraged in a spiritual life? Faith in trusted sources like Shastra and saints. Yes, that is correct. Thank you. I'm very happy that you're all giving such a quick answer, the right answer. That's amazing. Okay. Okay. Now, the Lord and his devotees are free from limitations. Just now we said that, we have all limitations. Now we are saying that the Lord and his devotees, that means if you become a devotee, that means you will not have limitations. Am I like, is it something like that? Let us understand. Okay. See, why we follow Lord Krishna, even when people have a misunderstanding, right? Many people challenge our faith. You all agree, right? And they ask, why do you follow Krishna? He told lies. He married 16,108 wives. Is it proper? No. So if somebody says like that, what we should do? We have to try to make them understand. Let's understand step by step with logic and faith. Now the argument is about Krishna's marriage. All right. Once I met someone of another religion in the train. I was traveling in the train. So he saw me. Oh, you're wearing tilak? I said yes. Why do you wear? Why do you wear tilak? Why do you follow this Krishna? You see, he had so many wives. I asked him, how do you know about this? That Krishna had so many wives. He said, no. Actually, I heard that it was written in some Puranas. So I asked him, okay, that means do you actually know the Muslim guy? That means I asked, okay, do you believe in the Puranas? I asked him. He said, no, I don't believe in Puranas. Then I said, see, if you don't believe in Puranas, then how can you criticize Krishna based on them? So either you accept that you believe Puranas, scriptures fully or not. So if you don't answer this question, I think your argument is completely baseless. So let us not discuss this. Then I left, he also left. Now the question still remains. Krishna's marriage were divine, not ordinary. Now how do you say this? See, Krishna married 16,108 wives. But why he married? You should know that, right? See, in the previous incarnation, as Lord Rama, many sages in the forest, Dandakaranya, they saw Lord's beautiful form, and they all desired that they want to serve the Lord like a wife, So Lord Rama, being Maryada Purusha, because he's take Ekapatni, he has taken a oath that he will just marry only one woman, and that was Mother Sita. So he promised to fulfill all their sages that, okay, I will fulfill your desires, not in this life, maybe next life, next incarnation. So you can see in Krishna's time, when Krishna came, after Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga, all the sages who had promised last time, they became now princes. And they were all later, all these princes, they were all later captured by one Rakshasa. Narakasura. And when Krishna defeated this Rakshasa demon, he rescued them. Say in India, we have that culture. No girl married, if no one could, I'm going to say, no one could marry girl, who had left their house for one day, sit in somebody's man's palace, they reject, So they had no shelter now. All this, all these ladies, they had no shelter, because Narakasura, kept them for one day, So then what happened? Krishna said, don't worry, I will protect you, I'll marry you. Then Krishna expanded himself into 16,108 forms. Can we expand like that? Not right. And then he married all at once. So we could see that he also lived with each wife personally in different places. Actually, when Narada Muni came to Dwaraka to meet Krishna, he went to different palaces. And everywhere he saw that Krishna is there with that wife. Then he was shocked, no? Then it's clearly understood that Krishna is not an ordinary man like you and me. That's why this proves that Krishna is Bhagavan. Only Bhagavan, God can do such activities. Even people struggle, they've struggled to maintain, one or two wives, Now Krishna married 16,000 wives, So we cannot compare like that. That's a foolishness. And also, people also criticize Krishna, They said, they criticize that without faith or proper understanding. Why they criticize? They say, people often quote that scriptures are like very partial, without faith or knowledge. So what I mean to say here, that they accept only what is suiting them and they reject the rest. Is that a fair thing? No, it's not a fair thing. Whatever they like, they say, okay, see, Krishna also got married, or you also should get married. They have partial knowledge, but they don't have complete knowledge. So to understand Krishna and his actions, we must hear from the proper source, that is called parampara, disciplic succession, not from the random people or self-made interpreters or something like, Facebook, Instagram, all these things. No. So now I have one question for all of you. You may also have this question that why did Lord Rama ask his wife, Mother Sita, enter into fire? We have this question, lingering question. Many people have this question, So why did Lord Rama tell Sita to go through the fire? Isn't that cruel thing that Rama did for Sita? You may have this, but here I want to give you a very simple, interesting analogy. What is that? Actually, see, once what happened, husband and wife, they were living in a rented house, all right? And wife, was told to turn on the motor because there was no water. She turned on the water, turned on the motor, and she forgot, she was supposed to off also. She forgot to off it. So what happened? She went off to a sleep, deep sleep. And after some time, the owner of the house and all the neighbors, public, they all coming and knocking the door, saying that, hey, the water is flowing in a long time. Can you stop that? Can you stop that? That time, the husband also came to know that this is happening. So what he did, he went, and he also knocked the door. The moment that lady opened the door, this husband of that wife, he started chastising left and right. Don't you have a common sense to you? Why did you on the motor? It's causing so much disturbance. You started screaming, yelling on them. And everybody thought, why this guy is yelling so much on his wife, They said and they left off. And then he closed the door. Then, he said, actually, I tried to scold you because I want to protect you. Because if I am not told like this public would come and they would chastise you. I don't want that to happen. That is why, I did like that. Same way, we can see even Lord Rama also, he asked Madhusudha to enter into fire. Why? Because not out of anger, but to protect her honor, So in front of public. That's why he's called Purushottama. He's a perfect man. Why does everything for the benefit of devotees? He does everything perfect. But we cannot do like that. So this is what I want to say. Of course, we have many such examples, but because of time, we all got make it pass. So ultimately, what I mean to say is that we should have faith in the Lord and scriptures. See, if we don't have faith in our own Lord, then who will we follow? That's a question. Everything depends upon our proper understanding from the, again, authorized source, from Guru, Shastra, and Parampara. Only then we can understand the Lord's action and we can develop real faith. So what I'm trying to conclude in this slide is that Krishna is beyond all limits. Because Krishna is not a an ordinary person. He is all powerful, he's beyond all faults. He's always pure, working only for a good for his devotees. That's why we must hear from the right source, not from YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook. That's not the right way. So we can understand truly this by following him with understanding, following his teachings. So now I have a question. If somebody asks you, why did Krishna marry 16,108 wives? So what is your answer? Okay, I'll put this question. Okay, so please answer whatever you have heard and what is your genuine point. Okay, so of course it's a very interesting question for all of you. Looks like, but I want to know why did Krishna marry? Okay, to fulfill the wishes of the sages and give shelter to the helpless princes. Fantastic. Wow. Amazing. This is the right answer. So it's important that we should know this. Okay, I'll share the result. You are always answering the correct answer. Thank you so much. Okay, good. Now, another game changer. We said both in Aroha and Avaroha, we should have faith. Faith is needed, right? See, many of us believed in Darwin's theory. What is Darwin's theory? Darwin's theory means, that we came from ape. We all came from monkeys, right? And even that moon landing, that Neil Armstrong walked in the moon. Not because, we saw it, because we trusted the teachers, the media, the books, the government. But later, even scientists have challenged the Darwin theory, saying that there is no clear fossil evidence showing that, one species turning into another. It's all called a theory, not a proven fact. Now, see, all of us who are sitting in the Zoom class, tell me if any one of you have come from monkey. Just raise your hands. Any of you came from monkey? Nobody have come. You all come from your mother, from your father and mother, right? So that meant that Darwin's theory, we thought one time it was right. We also gave an exam also. We also got passed, but that is not the right thing. And even similarly, many experts and researchers have raised doubts about the moon landing. I think now you all know it's a hoax, right? Like strange lighting in photos, no stars in the sky, and flag is moving. That shouldn't move actually because there's no air. The flag is moving. So just a faith is needed even in the science also. But we should be very careful where to place our faith. Better to place our faith or trust in a timeless spiritual wisdom. That's why I keep telling you, this is a timeless wisdom, this is a journey of timeless wisdom. I keep telling you this, right? So like Bhagavad Gita, which doesn't change or get disapproved over time. So now my question is, what is a key message about faith in our discussion? We spoke about too much of things, faith. So what is a key discussion? Okay, I'll just put the question on the screen. You can answer me. One moment. Yeah. Yeah, please answer them. What is the key message about faith from this discussion? Science always gives complete truth. Okay, faith is needed in both science and spirituality. Yes, that is the right answer. Fantastic. I really appreciate for all of your rapt attention in the class. Yeah, that's the right answer. Yes, I'll stop sharing this. Okay. Good. Yeah, that's the right answer. So ultimately, what I'm going to say that there's a very wonderful slogan from Bhagavad Gita. It says, "Manushyanam sahasreshu kapchit udati siddhi itatam ame siddhanam kaschin mamiti tatvataha." Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have received perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. Among thousands, only few seek truth. Among the perfection, rare is one who truly knows Krishna. So we're very fortunate that we are attending this in this Gita class. And here, let us hear about Lord Krishna from him wholeheartedly. What Lord Krishna himself says. He says that there are two energies. Okay, one is external energy, one is internal energy. Please make a note. Krishna is saying there are two types of energy. One is external, one is internal. Now, external energy is called material energy. That is called external. Now, internal energy is called spiritual energy. Now, what is this two? We had just little discussion earlier also. We spoke about material and spiritual, right? We spoke about oxygen and hydrogen coming to hydrogen oxygen coming together becomes No, water. We had that, that's a material knowledge. Then who gave us oxygen? So who gave us hydrogen? Then we came to know, no, that is a spiritual knowledge. So we had some discussion. But now it's not about the knowledge, it's about the energy. We are now speaking about external energy and internal energy. Now, what is external energy? We just now went to the sloka. Bhumirapo nala vayo kammanna buddhir evacha ahankara ityame binna prakritastudha. It says that water, air, fire, sky, ether, mind, false ego, intelligence, these are called 5 plus 3. These are called what do you say, material energy, external energy. Then what is internal energy? Internal energy means just like you and me, we, us, the living being, that is called internal spiritual energy. I would say we are all conscious, right? Full of life, right? That is called internal energy. I'll give you an example. We are also Krishna's energy because we are superior to the material energy. How is that? I'll give you an example. See, material things, they come from Krishna, but they are dead matter. Remember, I told you the senses, above senses, we have mind. Senses are dead matter. Above senses, we have mind. Above mind, we have intelligence. Above that, we have soul. No? So, again, senses, mind, intelligence, they are dead matter. Because above that is soul, it is Chaitana, living, consciousness. So, I'm going to say material things coming from Krishna, like I said, all these examples, air, water, everything, So, but superior to the material thing is water, that is our consciousness. So, living beings also come from Krishna, right? But we are alive, So, what I meant to say is, Krishna is a source of both. What is it both? I meant to say spiritual energy and material energy. Material energy is what I told about the air, water, fire, mind, intelligence, false ego, right? Now, what about the internal energy? That is the consciousness. We are all living, right? The existence of the soul. That is called the internal energy, right? And Krishna says, I'm the source of both, he says. That's why he has that power. So now, I just want to make you, because I'll explain you very detailedly. Now, you tell me, what is Krishna's higher, superior energy? What is Krishna's higher, superior energy? Is it air, water, fire, or is it mind, intelligence, or is it a living being, soul, or sky? Okay. Yeah, the answer is C. Soul. I remember I told you, right? Air, water, fire, mind, intelligence. That is a external energy, including sky and false ego. What is the internal energy? Living being, souls. Okay. By giving such kind of answers now, you'll have an idea. Okay. So just stay connected. We'll try to discuss this. Yeah, the answer is living beings. Okay. Fine. So we will not take much time. Okay. So yeah, same thing I told you. Bhumirapanalla Vayu. So Krishna says that besides my inferior energy, nature, or he says besides this, what do you say, this inferior nature, I'll read this for you. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, force. All together, this 8 constitutes my separated energy. And he says, besides this, oh mighty Arjuna, there's another superior energy of mind, which comprises the living entities who are exploiting the resources of material inferior nature. So what is Krishna trying to say here is that that we are all spiritual souls, part of Krishna's higher energy. You just don't give an answer also. But we get covered by the material energy when we forget him. Like what? Conclusion is that, see, in material world, Krishna's external energy are temporary and they're dull, which is that material one. When it comes to living being, that is Krishna's internal energy, which is eternal and consciousness. So Krishna is source of both, but is not bound by the material energy. He controls it, but he's not bound. That's why he's called Bhagwan, the supreme person of Godhead. I'll go a little faster. We'll have a discussion here. It says, Matta Partara Nanyam Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya Maya Sarvam Igam Prostam Putre Mane Gana Maya. I conquer of wealth, there is no truth superior to me, everything rests upon me as a pearls are strung. What does it mean? Imagine a necklace of pearls. You could see what holds all the pearls together? The invisible thread inside, right? Do you see a thread here? No, right? That thread is holding all the pearls. So you see that the pearls, but you don't see the thread. Yet without it, if there's no thread, then the pearls will not able to, be like that. It'll fall apart. All right. So in the same way, all living beings and things in the universe are like a pearls. And Lord Krishna is like that, the invisible thread supporting and holding everything together. So see, he is an underlying reality in all the existence. That's what I wanted to say. What I mean to say is that though we may not be able to see Krishna directly, everything exists because of him and depends on him. Just like the pearls depend on thread. Have you ever made a garland to the Lord? When you make a garland, you don't see the thread, you only see the flowers. Alright? So who's holding the flowers? The thread. The thread only is Krishna. I'm going to explain you. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is compared to which part of the pearl necklace? That's my question for you. I'll just poll this for you and let's see who's going to give me the first answer. Just stay connected. Yeah, there's a question there. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is compared to which part of the pearl necklace? The invisible thread. Haribol. Yeah, the invisible thread. Because the thread we cannot see. That is only Krishna. All right. Because if the thread is removed, the whole necklace will fall apart. Right? Yeah, that's right. I'll share the result. The answer is the invisible thread. Yes. I'm very happy to see that you're so attentive in my class. Now look at this. Just as the thread holds together all the beads in garland, the source of everything is Lord Sri Krishna. That's what I mean to say. Right? Now, one who does not come, somebody who comes to Krishna, is it okay today? Can I continue maybe another 10 minutes? Because I have very important thing to share. Okay, I may just continue 10 minutes more. So please stay connected. Okay, why some people don't come to Krishna, and some people come to Krishna? That we'll discuss now. Okay, now it says, Namam duskutuna muda prapadinte naradamaha maya partha jnana aturam bhava asritaha. I'll not read the translation. I'll give you the purport of what I mean to say here. See, why some people don't come to Krishna? Krishna says that there are 4 types of people who don't surrender to him. Who are they? One is Duskrina, Muda, Maya Arpita Jnana, Aturam Bhava Asrita. I'll explain this. Okay. Duskrita means sinful people who always do wrong things, who don't follow scriptures, who don't have respect to the parents, who just do all things which is completely opposite. They are sinful people and they will never accept Krishna as God. Second, Mudha, foolish people, because they get stuck in their life so much and so that, that I'll give an example. Just like a person, he has a shop, every day he opens the shop, he works very hard, he repeats the same thing life after life, His son is telling him, Papa, today you take a break, let's go for temple. No time for spiritual life, but he doesn't care. One day, this person was so obsessed by his father. Father, you take today break. So he wanted to take somewhere. He took him to Kashi. There he saw a cremation. And everybody were crying. Maybe the son thought, maybe my father will have some now change. So still, the man, only think about only one thing. He said, hey, should have told me now. See here. We are having textile business. We're making dresses all. Here you see in Kashi, people are dying, and I can do a business on wood, because a lot of woods can be used, so I can make a lot of money out of this. Again, the mind is not making him understand. See, this is there in the Narasimha Purana. I'm telling the story from Narasimha Purana that shows how people can be lost in their routine, that they don't care about their real purpose of life. So if we don't understand the real purpose of life, it's like we're, running under birth cycle old diseases. It's like a cycle of birth and death. It's like we're going on. ISKCON say ISKCON. It's like that. Then we have Maya Arpita Jnana. People whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. They may be very smart in politics, science and business, but they don't believe in God. Then we have Asuram Bhava Ashritaha. Those who have that demonic nature, very envious, they hate God, they reject God. So for all such kind of 4 peoples, they don't come to Krishna. So now I have a question for you. According to this verse from Bhagavad Gita, which type of people does not surrender to God at all. So I'll put this question on the screen. Let's see who's going to answer them. Yep. According to Krishna, which type of person do not surrender to him? Sinful people, wise people, to think smartly. Okay, I don't want hurry burry answer. We have gone through 6 chapters. Okay, now we're coming in 7th chapter. Your answer should be very wise. Sinful people. If somebody is sinful people, if they know the truth, if they become nice person, they can't become a devotee. Remember, I told you in a couple of chapters back. Somebody is very sinful, but even then he had a chance to do bhakti. So still, even a sinful person also can, take up Krishna consciousness. Then if it bhakta, devoted followers. Why? If bhakta means a devotee. If he's a devotee, then why he will not surrender? He will surrender. Right? And the right answer is somebody is envious. Let's say you are envious of someone. You will never be able to build up friendship with him because you are envious. You are envious. You are envious. So you have to break that up. No? So Asuram Bhav Ashruta, those who are demonic in nature, very envious of Krishna, it is not possible for them, to accept. For this, I'll tell you a small story because, that way you'll be able to understand so that next time you'll give the right answer. Okay. Now, look at this. Why some people do come to Krishna? Why some people don't come to Krishna? I'll explain this about, I have an example of a couple of them. I'll answer them in the later slides because we are running out of time. Okay. Why some people do come to Krishna? Krishna says, Chaturvida Bhajante Mam, Jinasukruta Arjuna, Artha Jigna Arthati, Nanacha Bharata Shaba. So, why some people come to Krishna? Because Krishna says there are 4 kinds of people who come to me. Who are they? Artha, Artharthi, Jignasu, Jnani. Artha means those who are very distressed in life, they're suffering, they're looking for help, they'll come. Artharthi means somebody who wants a lot of money. They'll mange more, give me more, I need more money, But people also come to God because they want money. Tell me honestly, how many have you not been to Tirupati? Everybody has gone to Tirupati. Why we all not need money? So be honest, be genuine. Sometimes we need more money, we'll go to Tirupati. So it's like that. So even that way also you can become bhakti. Then Jignasu, somebody is very curious. Who understands why am I like this? Why the stars are like this? Why so many things is happening? Very curious. Then Gnani, he wants to know why Krishna is everything. Who Krishna is. That's called Gnani. Now, what I meant to say here that in Artha I told you, somebody is distressed. I'll give an example. You heard about Gajendra example. He was in very distress. Because in the Srimad Bhagavatam it's mentioned that Gajendra was caught by a crocodile. So he was very distressed. So he called out Narayana. He called out the name of the Lord. Full surrender, and Krishna, the Narayana, immediately came and saved him. The second, we have an example of Artharthi, that is, somebody is looking for a wealth, So we have an example of Dhruva Maharaj. The Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see Dhruva wanted a kingdom which is greater than his father, Uttanapada. So he performed a lot of tapasya to please the Lord, So the Lord not only gave him the post, he made him the king also. He gave a Dhruva planet. He ruled for 36,000 years. See? And then we have Jignasu, very curious for seeking knowledge. We have an example of Srimad Bhagavatam, how Sage Saunaka and the sages at Naimisharanya. We can see the sages all approach Suta Goswami. They want to hear the understanding about truth about God, life and universe. So all the Naimisharanyas wanted to know about this through Saunaka Rishi, asking questions to Sage. That is correct. Okay. Then we have Gnani, Gnani. That is, we can see Sukadev Goswami. So we could see that how a self-realized Sukadev Goswami, he was so absorbed in Krishna consciousness. He spoke that Bhagavatam for 7 days, to Parikshit Maharaj, the Ganges. Okay, this is about 4 things. I'm making it a little fast. Stay connected for next 5-10 minutes. It's gonna be a big difference for us. So 4 types of people we accept is what? Those who are in distress, those who want wealth, those who are curious to know about the truth, and the wise who knows Krishna is everything. Okay, then who is the best among them? Jnani, among these four people, Jnani is best among them. Why? Because, he doesn't want anything. He just wants Krishna. He loves Krishna fully, and also Krishna loves him back. Okay. Then it says, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanamamam Prapadyante Vasudam Sarvamiti Samatma Durlabha. So, how rare is such person? After many births, a person surrenders to God, knowing that I am everything. So it's very rare. So the summary, what I want to say is that most people are stuck in work and don't think about God or soul. Some people are too proud or busy to care. Some come to Krishna when they suffer or they want something. But very rare people like you and me, they want to realize, is Krishna is everything? I want to surrender fully. That's why Vasudeva is everything. A wise person knows that after many lives, one should surrender to Krishna. Okay, I'm almost ending now. Just stay connected for another 5 minutes. Okay. Worship of God. Why do people worship many devatas? Because they have some kind of a material desire. Because their intelligence is covered by those desire. That's why they go and worship. There's so many devatas for different benefits. Now, in that case also, why Krishna is important? Because Krishna is like a root of the tree, right? So devatas are like the branches and leaves. So if you water the root, the tree grows, right? Like that, if you water the root Krishna, the whole tree is nourished. That means all the devatas becomes very happy. They become very satisfied. That's why we say, Yasmin Krishna Jagat Tushtam. If Krishna is happy, everybody is happy. The quick question, why is Krishna considered the most important among all gods? If I ask this question to you, what will be your answer? Okay. Quick. Okay. Yeah. If I ask you a question, is Krishna considered the most important among all gods? Why? If I say, because he's the root of the tree. Fantastic. That's a fantastic. Right. Sharing the result. Okay. And I'm making it a little fast because we are just in the ending of the slides. Okay. Okay. Now there's another verse. It says, why don't we worship all 33 demigods? Like there are 33 gods, right? We've seen a cow. They said there are 33 gods. So is it possible for us to worship of them all? Let's say, tell me honestly, do you keep a photo of a sun god in your altar, a rain god, wind god at home? No. But when you worship Krishna, you are respecting all of them together. That's what I meant to say. Now, next thing is Antavattu Palam Tesham. I'm making it a little fast because we have less time. Now, it says demigod worship is like earlier school classes. I mean, they're saying, oh, we come to know Krishna, we come to know about so many gods. Brahma, Shiva, Ganapati, Muruga, all these things, But ultimately, when you get understanding, oh, okay, Krishna is the God. How that is understanding, I'll give you an example. Just wait for some time, okay? Now, I want to ask you, do the devatas become angry when you worship Krishna? Please leave an answer in the chat box. Do devatas become angry when you worship Krishna? Just say yes or no. Do devatas, yeah, I'm looking at the answer. All of us reply. Do devatas become angry? They're saying no, no, no. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, they will never become happy. They will never come. In fact, they'll become very happy because just like a teacher sees that you're passing from 7th to 8th standard, will she feel very bad? Oh, this guy was 7th, he passed to 8th. No, she'll be very happy because you got promoted to the next class. Similarly, Devatas also wants to see that we all go back to Krishna. I'll give you one classic example. You would love it. What? You would love it. So what is that example? Before that, how to become ready to worship Krishna? Very simple. Chant the Lord's name, do good things to others, be honest, be simple, read Gita. And the question is, I give an example that let's say I go to hotel with my friend, okay, and my friend he is a lover of dosa, so he eats one dosa, two dosa, 7 dosas he eats keeping masala dosa, and then he says, oh, after 7 dosa he says, no, my stomach is filled, no, I'm satisfied. Now he called that waiter. He said, why don't you give me the 7th dosa first only, man? Why you gave all the first 6 dosas? He said, because he says, my stomach is filled. When he ate the 7th dosa, he told my stomach is filled. The answer is, see, to get the answer first he has to know what you say. He need to know all the first he has to eat the first 6 dosas. Then only he can tell the 7th dosa is my stomach is filled. The answer is that he needed all the 6 before to feel full, right? Similarly, our past worship helped us because of our parents, our friends. It helped us to grow, and now we are ready to worship Krishna. So this is what I'm going to say. I'm making it a little faster because of lack of time. Someone who's envious, can they get Krishna? Never. They will never get Krishna. Because Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana, they were envious of Krishna. And that's why, they couldn't get Krishna. They got liberation, moksha, but no love of God. I'll tell you quick examples from Ramayana. Say Ravana, he was so envious that he wanted to enjoy Mother Sita. Right? He considered himself that he is God. What was the outcome? He got destroyed, his kingdom. He received no mercy because of his pride and envy. Same thing with Hiranyakashipu also, right? He declared himself, I am only God. He hated Lord Vishnu. He tried to even kill his son, Prahlad, as a devotee. What happened? He got himself killed by Lord Narasimha. He got liberation, I agree. But he never got love of God, He never got bhakti. Same thing, Shushupala also from Mahabharata, He continuously was insulting Krishna, in the Rajasuya Yajna. What happened? What was the outcome? Krishna killed him with the Sudarshan Chakra, and he got liberation. Again, still, he never got a love of God and no bhakti, no love to Krishna. Then finally, we have Kamsa also, right? Kamsa, the Krishna's material uncle, he tried repeatedly to kill Krishna from birth due to fear and hatred. What happened? He was killed by Krishna personally in the wrestling match, and Krishna won the match. So we could see that he had Krishna's association by person, but he never received mercy. Why? Because he was very envious and very fearful of Krishna. So what I mean to say is, envy is one thing that blocks the hearts of receiving Krishna's mercy. That's why we have to be very humble, very surrendered, so that we can attract the mercy of the Lord. I'll tell you one last story, and you will really enjoy it. What is that? See, there was one man. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva, and he wanted some boon. So once this man prayed sincerely to Lord Shiva, please, Lord, give me devotion, grant me some boons, However, Lord Shiva was very happy by his tapasya. Okay, child, I'll give you 3 boons, take the boons. Whatever you ask, I'll give you. But whatever I'll give you, your neighbor will receive double of that. Is that okay? He said, yeah, it's okay. So the first time he asked, I want a car. Instantly he got a car. But the neighbor got 2 cars. Then after some time, the second boon he asked, said, I want a nice, nice house, Opened his eyes, he saw he's in a big bungalow. He came out of the house, so there are 2 big bungalows. That means he's never got 2 bungalows. Now what happened? There was a jealousy that created in the heart of this man's heart, So he couldn't tolerate the neighbor getting everything because I'm doing the hard work. He's getting the benefit. So what he thought, Lord, I have my last one. What is that? He thought very carefully. He said, Lord, please make me blind. One eye you make me blind. Then what happened? As per the rule, the neighbor became completely blind. So what is the moral we hear from here? That envy, jealous, it can twist our thinking so much that, we may harm ourselves just to see others suffer more. So what we should do instead, we should focus on our blessings and let others prosper. This is what I'm trying to say here. If you're envious of Krishna, you will never get Krishna. My last question for you is, what does envy do to a person? I repeat, what does envy do to a person's chance of receiving Krishna's mercy? I have a question on the screen. You can just look at the screen. Today I'm going a little super fast, but because of time lagging, okay? Yeah. What does envy do to a person's chance of receiving Krishna's mercy? It blocks the heart from receiving mercy. Absolutely right. Yes, that's the right answer. Okay, I'll share the result. I'll stop sharing. Okay, thank you. So we're in the last slide now. Okay, so wonderful slide, no? It says, Yasham tu antagatam papam jnanam punya karmamam yedvanta moha nirmukta bhajante mam buddha. I'll not read the translation because we're going late. Okay, so why do, who can worship, Krishna easily? Can you worship? Can we worship? Actually, people who do good actions in the past and present life, people who are free from all sins, and they're not confused, they can worship Krishna with full heart and faith, And what should be our goal when we worship? Not to stay in this world, go back to the spiritual world. Because we can see even the demigod worships, people who worship devatas, they give you blessings, but that is very limited, it's very temporary. But when you worship Krishna, he gives the best for you. But how do we qualify? Very simple, just become free from the karma, whatever karma you do it as an offering to God. Chant the Lord's name, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and listen to the Bhagavad Gita, and make sure you come on class on time, and also call your more friends to hear these classes and serve Krishna. Very importantly, I would say, after many, many births, a wise person surrenders like you and me, knowing that I am the cause of all. Such great soul is very, very rare. So the last question of the day is, who can easily worship Krishna? Can you worship or can I worship? So I have a question on the screen. I'm going super fast today. Who can easily worship Krishna? What would be your answer? Okay, yeah, people free from all sin and confusion. So yeah, that's right. People with no faith, or maybe that's you, I believe. You have to be very careful. If you have no faith and you have to be envious, very difficult. You will never able to worship Krishna because you don't respect yourself. Then how will you respect others? Because you're envious. The envious should be removed. Okay. So who can easily worship Krishna? People who are free from sin and free from confusion. They can easily worship Krishna. And finally, what I want to say that today we have discussed chapter 7. Knowledge of absolute. So in chapter 7, Krishna is revealing that the deeper knowledge of himself as Supreme Personality of God. He explains that the true wisdom means understanding Krishna as the ultimate source of everything, both material and spiritual. So some of the points we discussed today, I'll make a quick wrap up that Krishna describes himself as a knower of the God and supreme enjoyer. And we spoke about two types of knowledge, right? Material and spiritual. Also, we spoke about gaining knowledge. Avarohana Pantha and Rohana and Avarohana Pantha, right? Then we also spoke about Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana Pramana, Shabda Pramana. Among the best is what? It is Shabda Pramana, right? Then people come to Krishna in different ways. Somebody out of distress, desire, curiosity, wisdom. So many fail to recognize Krishna because their intelligence is been covered by material desire, especially envy. So Krishna encourages sincere seekers that to come to him with a devotion, promising that he will remove all doubts and grant knowledge. So the chapter today mainly highlights importance of devotional service and how knowing Krishna truly can transform one's life beyond our material limitations. I don't know how I'm speaking so fast today. And tomorrow we are getting in chapter 8, attaining the Supreme. So what happens after death? That's a common question people have. Krishna answers the ultimate question, what happens after death? He reveals how a final thought at the moment of death, So a lot of things are there, I don't know how to begin because we are going because of time. So you may have a lot of questions, confusions, that's okay. But when you come for tomorrow's class, all your questions will be answered because Krishna is going to explain what will be our next birth, what will happen after life. Everybody wants to know, right? What will I become in the next life? So don't miss tomorrow's class. It's going to be very interesting and very, very important. That's why if you look at the screen, what does it say? It says one question that changes everything. What happens at the time of death? Second, it says your final thought decides your eternal decision. What does it matter? Then what master it? Then learn the GPS to Goloka Vrindavan. How do you go to Goloka Vrindavana? All right? Don't miss the secret of your soul, just journey, final journey. One moment at death can unlock eternity. That is chapter 8 shows you how. Finally, are you preparing for the most important exam, moment of death? This is what we're going to change. Talk now. We will understand more clearly in chapter 9 to 12, especially chapter 11, where Krishna shows all the gods inside himself.